All right. Let's go ahead and turn this off. Go down. Turn that off for now. How's it going, everybody? Appreciate everyone tuning in early. How's it going? How's it going? Let me go ahead and we'll switch the filters here. Maybe we keep the music going. Yeah, we'll shut it off. I've been trying to get in the habit of shutting it off while we stream, so I'll turn this back on. I can also turn on the AC if I need to. Oh, let me just mute. Damn mic stand sitting on the cord. All right. What is going on? So, today I wanted to do something different. I gotta look at how do I do this? Like, how do I create a poll and stuff on YouTube? Give me one sec here. Cancel that. Engage with your audience. Start a poll, start a Q&A. I see, okay. All right, so I know how to do it on Twitch as well, if I'm not wrong. Let me just double check. Manage poll, yep. Okay, cool. We're just going to hang out for a bit and tie and wait for people to get on in here. Because what we're going to be doing is, I had the idea of having chat vote on materials and then techniques and just tying random flies with that in mind, which I think that possibly could be interesting. So we'll get started though. I've been tying a bunch of teasers. These are pretty simple. They're going to just be surf candies, but tied on larger sized hooks so people can spin fish with them, using them as teaser above plugs. We're just going to hang out and tie for a while. Let me go ahead and put is my noise reduction on? Noise suppression? Yeah, all right. Let me turn the AC back on. Try and keep it somewhat cool in here. All right. First off, I hope everyone's doing well. I have a new video. That's the other thing I wanted to do is brainstorm some ideas for. Someone asked about making a video in particular about. I've been meaning to make videos about bucktail, but this was in particular about where to select hair from wear on the tail. So essentially, like, why would you cut hair from the top versus the bottom? So I'm going to make a video on that, and that's a little bit more digestible and easier for me to attack as trying to make a video about it. But what do you call it? I'd like to ask you folks some questions and see if I'm missing any ideas for the video. Well, we're just going to get started off. I got bucktail, I got olive, and I got white. And we're just going to, I also have the autofocus on. Let's try it so we don't have to worry about the focus. Let's see how that works. Yo, Jay, what's going on, man? You know, I haven't even been going fishing. I've been tying and, what do you call it? Working on some stuff around the house and stuff. Pretty much just tying, though. Working on all of these over here. You can see all the stuff I've been getting ready. These are all teasers for a local shop. And I also got a bunch of materials on the way so I can start tying fall time stuff, and I have to tie for other shops as well. But I haven't really gone. I know there was some surf fishing. People were catching some fish in the surf because they were eating mole crabs and stuff. But to be honest with you, I don't think it's been anything too spectacular. It's really why I haven't been fishing. So I tried fishing last summer and I just didn't catch anything inshore at all. So, one of the reasons why I've been, what do you call it? Spending a lot of time tying and stuff. But I'd like to get out there. It's about the time where I'm going to start getting out there. It's starting to get a little bit cooler as well. So, crack open up Polar Spring. And yo, Rev. That's right. Round of applause. Thank you, my friend. 15 months with the membership. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Ah. He's whipping up a Warhammer mission for tomorrow. We're going to film for the second channel. So, speaking of which, I just got a new Trench Crusade video up on the Mike Rolls Dice channel. So, for anyone that's interested. Got to work on, and I'm doing better with steady shots and stuff, but I got to work on better at just like stopping and taking like 20 seconds or 15 seconds just to film something and not move. You know what I mean? Instead of like filming for like 5 seconds and then moving, you know, and stuff, I need to get longer, steady shots to work with. So that's something I got to try and do. But I think tomorrow what we're going to do is we're going to try and film like a cinematic style. I've been doing research and working on some editing stuff, so. But I am excited to make this bucktail video, so. And then, of course, I'm going to be doing some regular time videos, but I want to start getting back into the groove of making, like, subject videos. So, Friday tie day, yeah. So, we're going to start doing, like, a bucktail series. And I need to get out and start doing some fishing. I would like to start doing more topical videos about fly fishing and structure, or searching beaches and stuff, whatever. So we got some stuff to work towards. A lot of videos to make. And I really got to start working on my website at some point. I want to relaunch my website. Start selling flies on there, but a lot going on. It's going to be busy, I'm sure, with tying here at some point. That's why I'm trying to get as much of these teasers done as possible early, so that way I can not get too crazy. So, you hear the fishing's been good? Yeah, I think if you've been fishing, if you got a boat, you can get out. It's probably been pretty decent, but the inshore fishing's a little wishy-washy, I think. Apparently, they just closed tuna. They just closed bluefin altogether till December or something, which is kind of wild. That would suck for any charter or any offshore captains, but they got to do what they got to do for bluefins. It's like one of the most at-risk fish. But that is going to suck, I'm sure, for a lot of people. So I wasn't putting lateral scale last year, but I said, you know what? I have so much of this silver lateral scale. I said, screw it. I'm just going to start using it. We'll just give the surf guys the premium treatment here. You know what I mean? They're pretty much getting flies on teaser hooks. And we throw the eyes on here while we're at it. So there's actually multiple things we got to do. I'm going to write all this down on Post-its. This is why I keep cheap dollar store Post-its here, because my memory is terrible. So there's multiple things we got to do tonight on stream. We need to, later on, I guess first we'll say video idea. We'll chat about bucktail stuff. Because, or whatever in general, if anyone has any video ideas for what they want to see me do on the channel. Then we're going to have chat and vote. Tying. All right, we got to come up with a name for it, because this might be like a new segment or a new part of the stream that we do, where essentially chat's going to vote On YouTube and Twitch, there's features to vote on the types of material that we're going to use, and we'll do that maybe a couple times, pick like random materials, and then we'll vote on techniques, and we'll pick a couple of random techniques and maybe randomize the order that they go in. And then I was sitting in my backyard. I'm like, I bet you I can make a war game where you used your flies. And depending on what the material is, like an RPG, like I make D&D, but with your flies. And depending on what material it has, they have different stats. And then you like fight a striped bass. That's just the idea I had when I was sitting downstairs in the hookah lounge before coming up here. Because I was like, it's almost like we're making like a board. It's like, this is like a fly tying game, you know? We could make like rules for the materials and then you roll dice and that'll determine the fly. You know what I mean? Could be like a fun little thing. And then I was like, what if we turn it into freaking D&D? That's what we need to do. This is how I can fix my boat, fund it. I got to create a tabletop RPG game about fishing. Fishing and survival, but mostly fishing. And there's a tying mechanic involved. Maybe not survival, just a little bit. Or there's like random bad things that could happen. And that way I'll sell that on DriveThruRPG and make like $20. You know, put it towards the boat. If I was better at like formulating my thoughts via words on a in a Word document, I would go for it. But I think I need another 20, 30 years before I write a some sort of a book or something, but I could probably sit down and bang out a tabletop role-playing game about fly tying and fishing in a month. Between me and Rev, I mean. I'd have to cut him in on, you know, but he's like the genius. It'd be like a solo thing, though. It'd have to be like a solo game or something. That'd be interesting. All right. Enough daydreaming. Keep, so, anyways, I got completely sidetracked. So, video ideas. Chat tying game, we'll call it. And I almost forgot. There's the whole reason I'm writing stuff down. We need to pick the winner for the last giveaway video. Pick the winner. And then what was the other thing I wanted to do? Oh, I want to show you a sneak peek for the new 5 Parsecs from Home campaign that's going to be on my second channel. I'll do that at the end of the stream because there's a banger song and I put like a little 80s montage together. It's pretty sick. Sneak peek. Parsecs. So in case you don't know, I do have a second channel, Mike Rolls Dice, where we do tabletop stuff. Like Warhammer-esque sort of games and stuff. But what do you call it? I'm trying to get more. I'm trying to get better at editing in general. The only reason that, I mean, the one thing I'll say is that when it comes to editing for my fly tying stuff, it's pretty straightforward. But when it comes to editing something like one of these tabletop stuff, I have to learn a lot more. So it just makes me a better editor in general for when it comes to, and like workflow, when it comes to editing my fly tying stuff. And I should probably incorporate like some newer cool stuff, you know what I mean, in my fly time videos as well. But what do you call it? So I'm trying to make more like cinematic, almost like little TV show style battle reports. So to try and get better at that sort of stuff, doing like little voice acting as well. I did some voice acting in the new Trench Crusade video, using some voice changers and stuff. So, but yeah, we'll see. But I definitely would like to elevate my fly tying videos to the next level, but I haven't figured out how to do that yet without adding another 30 minutes of B-roll footage of like filming different angles or something, you know what I mean? Probably working on there's probably a better way I could structure it. It's very traditional. It's very streamlined, but it's like a very traditional sort of fly tying video. There's probably a way I can make it a little bit more interesting. Because there's some great video or fly tying channels out there that make production wise and how they film and the fly tying, but just how they film is and edit is so fantastic. Like She Ties Flies is one of them. There's a couple other channels, or like mainly flies. I think I'm doing pretty good so far, but there's always room for improvement, especially in this the world of YouTube. You always got to keep improving. So, and I certainly have a lot of room to improve when it comes to making videos. So, but yeah, we got 4 things we're doing today. Other than just right now, we're kind of just chit chatting, tying some simple teasers. I'm hoping some more folks get in here so we could get a good amount of input for this. Oh, I didn't say I was going live on Discord. What a bozo. There we go. Because notifications don't work half the time on these apps, and most people turn them off. Hell, I do. I know a lot of folks end up getting that Discord message and then use that as their way of knowing that I start the stream. So, all right. Yeah, this lateral scale looks. I mean, I started putting lateral scale on candies like I don't even know, like 8 or 9 years ago or something when I first really started getting into albie fishing and stuff. But man, I love it. But for a while, not many people did this. Aloha. What's going on, David? How you doing? How's Hawaii? How's the weather down there? Dude, it's been gorgeous up here in New York during the day, and at night, I literally was wearing a sweater last night. Like all of August, it's been freezing. Or not freezing, but it's been like, it must be dropping into like the 60, like high 60s or something at night, which is just, it's a little too cold for t-shirt almost. It might even be colder than that. I don't know. It's crazy how cold it's getting at night. Usually it stays like hot at night during August at least, but it's like I have to try and cut my fingernails enough to where they're not too long, right? But if they're not long enough, the super glue gets underneath my fingernails and just is the most miserable thing after tying hundreds of flies. So I need to have like pretty good length on there. But I'm not trying to look like I live in the woods, you know. What you don't see is my beard. You would think I live in the woods if you saw my beard right now, but I went to the doctor. I was like, oh man, I should have shaved. Or going to the cardiologist or whatever. All right. Maybe we put on manual focus because it looks like it's every once in a while picking up on my hand. So let's do that. Started messing around with beast flies. Now I'm addicted. Oh boy. Good luck. They're gonna have to start what do you call it? Go bow hunting out there. Do they have they don't have whitetail, but I know you have different deer. Do they have any tails that you can use like as bucktail on those deer? Because I know there's a bunch of different what is there, axis deer over there, right? There's a lot of different deer, and there's also different deer that were released a while back, and wild sheep and stuff, that there's like tons of invasive uh game that you can hunt over there that you could probably. But unfortunately, I don't know about whitetails. I don't know if you have whitetails. Yeah, you have the axis, invasive axis. Yeah, yeah. They don't have a tail like a whitetail does, right? I'm assuming. I've never tried to tie with a tail from another deer because I don't think they're anywhere near as long as whitetails, but the North American whitetail, which is the bucktail that we use in general. So I'm assuming even the fly time material, is it with the shipping, is it like super expensive to get a bucktail? I'm assuming if you buy it at any place local, let's say there was a fly shop or something, they would have to charge like way more money because it's. Oh yeah, I know. I know some guys that hunt in Hawaii, uh, like either local dudes or something, and they are all upset about what do you call it? The government essentially killing all the invasive game out there, like the deer and stuff, because they're invasive. But people hunt them for meat, you know what I mean, in communities and stuff like that. Mm. Yeah, I order online. It's expensive, but I've gotten lucky. Oh, okay. You got them to get it from me from Hairline. That's something I always wondered about. What if you live in like a remote area, and you're trying to order fly tying materials? Because for instance, like obviously it's different with something like a gallon of milk, right? But like I know a gallon of milk is like $10 in like Alaska or Hawaii due to I'm sure because it's like refrigerated and has to be shipped and all that. So I'm sure it's not as bad for fly time, but no matter what, shipping is always gonna increase the cost of stuff. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, so here's the deal. Like, that's one of the reasons why I haven't gone. I turned towards fly tying, not only because I do it, but I was thinking like, do I want to become like a fishing channel, right? Because I could just go fishing every day and just film that. But I mean, when it comes to the community of serious people out here that fish, if I went around and filmed everywhere, right, and fished in a lot of these spots at certain times of the year where it's certain bites, I mean, I'd be pissing off a lot of people because, a lot of this is like close, it's like everybody knows each other or it's like smaller areas, right? And you make one video and it's pretty, we've seen it literally with just Instagram posts. Somebody makes an Instagram post that the albies were blowing up. The next day, there's like 40 cars down at the inlet. When all week it was me and this three old guys and one other dude that were the only people targeting him. The next day, like some random person shows up, posts a photo or something like that. So spot burning is a very real thing. It's one of the reasons why I haven't one of the reasons why I haven't like fully invested into fishing because it's hard to film fishing without showing exactly where you are because it's so easy for people to find where you are. Especially when it comes to Google Maps. I mean, my mod Jin, just from us going fishing and live streaming, he's like, I know exactly where you are. I'm like, all right, well, shut the hell up. Don't tell anyone. That's terrifying that you were able to find me that easily, but okay. But yeah, that is one of the struggles. You know what I mean? So you see all these like really, really big fishing channels, they just don't care. You know what I mean? Like I'm talking about mega channels, right? Some try and do it right, but a lot of them, like if we're talking about like you're making a full-time living, making thousands and thousands of dollars off YouTube per month, they don't care. I've talked to people about what do you call it? About like YouTube creators going like big ones going to like their hometown like Massachusetts and like completely spot burning their local their areas. They just go there for like one day, film all the amazing fishing spots and leave for everybody. They get like 500,000 views and you're like, "Oh my god. The travesty." Like, it's pretty crazy. Like I always try and help people and stuff, but there is like a certain level of truth to that like you can't be giving away all your good secrets when it comes to areas because Unfortunately, loose lips sink ships, and that's like the absolute reality of it, especially when it comes to fishing. So there's a reason why these old timers don't even talk about what they caught half the time, and this goes back to pre-social media age. But anyway, it's interesting. Boat fishing, yeah, even boat fishing, you got to be careful about. I can watch certain boat fishing, and just let's say where somebody is on the south shore of Long Island, if they're on the beach, they have to be very careful not to show what houses they are, because certain houses are like absolutely unique on the south shore. So there's a house called the Cheese House, which is shaped like a wedge of cheese. It's a really good fluke spot. If you went there and filmed a fluke video and you had somebody filming and they could see the beach background, you would see that cheese house and everybody would know that spot. I mean, everybody already does know that spot, but so you need to be careful even in a boat, because it's not like you're out in the middle of the ocean striper fishing. You're inshore, you know. But it is much easier in a boat to do, for sure. Even when I used to go streaming, I'd be very careful about trying not to show like big bridges and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because I also don't want somebody to be in the parking lot waiting for me and ask those chaps. You know, so I'm like, that that was a joke, but it was also always a fear of mine. Like, what if somebody's just waiting for me? Like, what's going on, LI Flies, Mike? They have like a machete in their hand. You know, like, oh God. Thank God I'm not a huge streamer. But it is much easier to keep the area where you are anonymous when you're fly tying, for sure. For sure. But, you know, it's all right. I get it. It's just if you're conscious and when you're making fishing videos and you're trying not to show everything, you know, then that's when you got to show props. People are like blurring stuff and this and that, and maybe creating not the best viewing experience, but trying to be respectful of people in the local area, you know, shout out. Because I'll edit my videos at times to try and make it to where it's like you can't see certain things. Sometimes you can't avoid it, but, you know, is what it is. Yeah, it's interesting, right? I guess you could just not care about it at all, but there'd probably be a few people that I know that fish out here that probably wouldn't be too happy with me if I was doing stuff like that. Yeah, so by the way, this will be like what I'm going to be doing for the next. I have more material coming because I do have to tie for Whitewater, a local shop, but this is for a different place. I don't even know. I think he must have like went through 200-300 teasers, I want to say, maybe even more, last fall. There's a lot of people out here surf fish, you know, 10 foot, 9 foot, 11 foot spinning rod, Van Stall, and a diamond jig, and they throw one of these on a dropper loop in front of the diamond jig, and I mean, it's money. People go out, they drive their trucks on the beach, and that's how they fish out here most of the time. Some people won't even fish all year until the fall. The next night, a whole family was spear fishing there, and never saw divers at that spot before. Well, yeah, it's definitely, you know, you gotta be careful. Sometimes it could be coincidence and stuff, but you know, it's hard to say. I don't think I've ever like had anyone show up to some of my spots yet. I still have some spots that are super like secret that I have filmed, but it's kind of like random. Like it's hard to find that sort of thing. And I have seen people, but it was like some guy that's like, "Who the hell are you? I've been living here for 30 years." And I'm like, "Who the hell are you? I've been living here for 30 years." And then we had a little standoff, and then we're like, "Oh, okay. All right. I guess you're cool." It was down here by my house. I walked right up to this dude. I was like, he was fishing at the point I always fish, and I'm like, "Who the hell is this dude?" I'm like, "Oh no, somebody found my spot." Right? And this guy's like, "Yeah, who are you?" He's like, "I live here. I've never seen you." And I was like, "Who are you? I live here and I've never seen you." That's what I told him. And then we like chatted for a little bit. It was like a little awkward, but it was like, all right, cool, we're all right. But we were both like, who the hell is this guy? So that's what I was like, all right, this guy's legit. And then he walked down the beach up to some house or something. So I was like, okay, okay. Still, I don't know how I've never seen this guy since like 1998, but maybe we're on different schedules here. Yeah, but the most egregious, absolute worst case we've ever seen was when somebody would post something on Instagram. Because I'm telling you, when it comes to Albies, dude, people are crazy. People are crazy. For some folks, like, all their manners went straight out of the window. They were casting over us. Like, multiple times we had to, like, yell at people because they would get so excited and they would throw their spinning line, like with a deadly dick or something, or like a diamond jig for Albies. They would throw it over like 5 people's lines and like start snagging like spinning rods and fly rods. And we're like, dude, what are you doing? Like at that point, you have to take charge of the situation. You can't let somebody like that just run amok. There has to be like organization on the jetty. Because when there's people shoulder to shoulder and there's people fly casting and there's campers and ATVs with staff drive, like it's chaos. So yeah, there were times where it was like you just had to leave because you couldn't even fly fish because it was just you would literally just be hooking people because you're like, dude, you gotta move, I'm gonna hit you. They're like, no, 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 you're good. You end up hitting the dude with the fly and it gets like hooked in his jacket. You're like, all right, I'm just leaving. This guy is, you win. You could take the spot. Like this guy's willing to have me hook him in the ear with with a fly. I'll just go back by the parking lot, go fish over there. Those were fun times though, man. The chaos, hooking like a giant albie and having to run down the inlet, and there's like people with bait lines out. There's people like fishing for stripers. You're like putting your a fly rod underneath some dude's porgy line, and then you're going over someone's line, and you're like reel it up, and you're running around, and you're trying not to fall on the rocks. Meanwhile, the fish is like just running past like 30 other people's lines, going straight up the jetty. It was wild. It was like the Olympics of fly fishing in the Northeast. You had to be like 100% on top of your game to land some of these fish. It was wild. It wasn't as bad as like Salmon River, Peak Salmon River, or like Montauk back in the day where people would fight each other. But it was like shoulder to shoulder fishing. You know what I mean? Which is, yeah, that can be pretty rough when you're trying to fly fish. The good thing is you are waving around a hook at like 90 miles an hour. So most people do get the clue. Most people get the hint that they maybe shouldn't stand right next to you. But I'm telling you, there are some brave souls that they know what they're doing. They're like, I'm gonna stand next to this dude. He's gonna move. I don't care if I get hit. And it works. I've been bullied out of spots a couple times by people. I'm like, I do not want to have to like apologize after this dude gets hooked in the ear, or something. With a 4-odd or a 2-odd surf candy. I actually was fishing on this bridge once. It's this famous bridge called the Smith Point Bridge. And I'm not really spot burning because it's the spot everyone knows about, but there was this one kid that was surf fishing. I think it was like probably like in his 20s. And I was fly fishing. I was there first. I got the spot. I was there for hours, right? And that's how it works. You get the spot, that's it, right? And so he didn't really have anywhere to stand but on my left, and I'm a lefty. And I'm like, dude, he was like 15 feet to my left. I'm like, I really don't have enough room to cast. He's like, you're good, dude. Don't even worry about it. If you hit me, you hit me. It's all good. You were here first. It's all good. If I'm like, and I'm trying to like cast and swing my fly, and now there's like plugs all over the place. And like, sure enough, 15 minutes go by, and I hook him. And luckily it got him in the jacket and it didn't like go down to the bar, but it did get him. And he's like, "No, you're good, you're good, you're good." I'm like, "All right." I just left. At that point. Uh, and he wasn't being like an asshole or something, but still, I was like, "Dude, I can't be like, what if I hook you in the eye or something? Like, I can't. I understand you're okay with it, but I can't sit here in good conscience and swing this by your head. You know what I mean? As much as I want to catch a fish, and the fish were out of reach anyway, so big bluefish at night. What are you gonna do? Some of the spots I go to are passed down generations or super secret. And being on an island, everybody knows everybody. So if they don't know you, they do the same thing. Yeah, why are you fishing here? Yeah. Yeah, it's like out here, out east, it's like that too. Now there's a lot more people, but back when I was growing up, you would see like the same retired dudes every day fishing. And a lot of them, it was interesting. Like growing up, not every surf fisherman would be like that, but there many times, I'd say maybe half the people at times, especially back in the day when people were striper fishing was absolutely like the best it was, and people were dead serious. I would be like a 9, 10-year-old kid walking down the beach, and I'd be like, "Hey, how's it going? You catch anything?" And these dudes wouldn't even look at me and say anything. That's how serious they were, because they don't even want to show emotion that there was a fish, because they don't want me to come stand next to them. Like, that's how serious these dudes are with their surf casting. Won't even talk to each other, won't even say hello. People bury fish in the sand when nobody's looking, so nobody knows they caught something, right? A lot of people used to bury fish. That was a really big thing. People still do it, at night in particular. But it was always crazy to me that I was like a little kid and people would be like, it would be like war. They wouldn't even talk to me. It was always so funny. You know what I do? I pull up next to him and I can catch like a 20-pounder in front of him with a Gibbs and walk away. Let the fish go right in front of him too. That was always, I was like, "Oh, you're not gonna talk to me? Okay, I'll pull up." What's going on, Papa? How you doing, man? Saying a Saturday morning good day to you. To you all from Australia. All right, sounds good. Enjoy the tea. I stopped drinking coffee actually. After drinking it for years, drinking 2 cups of Intensio from Nespresso, the George Clooney coffee, and I'm telling you, that stuff is good. You could probably strip the paint off a Trans Am with it. But it broke, and I'm also trying to be a little bit more conscious about what I put in my body. So I was like, I'm just gonna stop drinking coffee. And I've just been drinking some. I have like a cup of English breakfast tea with a little bit of milk. It's good. I've been enjoying it. And I've been drinking some matcha tea too. Mm. That, and I also cut out cheese. I've been saying that, but I went to the doctor's again for this other thing, and what do you call it? I'm like down to like 158 pounds. So my doctor's like, "You can't lose any more weight. You're like 5'11". Don't lose any more weight." I'm like, "I don't know what's going on, dude. I just stopped eating cheese and drinking coffee and like eating like cookies every once in a while." So like, I already was like not overweight or anything. He's like, "All right, just don't lose any more weight, all right?" I'm like, "Yeah. Yo, Craggerroll. Right now, I'm just working on some teasers. I got a pile of teasers for a local shop. Working on. Is it gonna focus? Oh, manual focus. But I was waiting until we got some more folks in here, and we had some folks chatting. Uh, I do want to try a new idea where we have you folks vote on materials, and we have you vote on techniques, and then we do like a couple votes to pick different materials, and then we do maybe a couple votes for techniques, and we try and come up with a fly from it. It's kind of the idea. But how you doing? Hope you're doing well. So while we're waiting for people to come on down, so we can get some more folks participating in that. We're tying some teasers for a local shop. Like I said, I think this dude bought like, I don't even know, but the amount of teasers I sold to him in a short amount of time was pretty astronomical. Because the surf fishing was, I mean, a lot of big fish on spinning rods. Maybe this year I'll make a video where I go out with a spinning rod and we'll use my teaser. And we'll catch a bunch of just striped bass on my teasers. We'll use like a casting egg or something. Or just a diamond jig with no hook on it in my teaser. It'd be sick to like have one of those little cameras that you can run and then have the teaser behind it and just drag along the bottom. You'd probably get some sick footage out there. But I don't have one of those. A family horseshoe tournament? Does that mean you're going to be throwing horseshoes? Or you're going to be actually putting them on horses? And it's like a family team event like NASCAR, where the horses pull up and you got you and your kids and your wife or something, like changing horseshoes on a stallion. Like pit stops. I don't know how the county fairs go up there. You know what I mean? And upstate. I've been upstate. They get kind of wild up there in the mountains. You're just throwing them? Okay. My vote for technique is a dubbing loop. You guys and your damn dubbing loops. I haven't created a what is it called? An Adeptus Mechanicus machine god tool out of paper clips yet. I don't know. We don't have that yet. I know you made one, right? I should just buy a dubbing loop tool. It's a business write-off. Which dubbing loop tool should I buy? Chat. Crag roll. What's going on, Brandon? How you doing? If anyone has any I'll probably ask in Discord too. And then I'll buy it and we'll do a video about learning how to use dubbing loops. Because I'll be learning how to use it too. I got a dubbing table. Yeah, what dubbing loop tool should I buy? I'm just going to buy one. We've been talking about dubbing loops for so long. And I've been meaning to kind of dig my hands into it. You don't even need that. A little wax is all you need, but a paper clip could work. I know, you guys, we did this before, didn't we? Didn't we do this on stream one day and I just completely failed? We were trying to do it. I have wax. I have thread. I think we literally did this before, Craggerall. This whole discussion we had, and then I tried it, and I couldn't do it. I like the simple hook end ones because you can put crazy pressure on it to hold. Oh my god, all my lateral scale just fell on the ground. Hold on. Ah, dude. Let me just pick all this up before I destroy it all. Wasn't much, but it was enough. You know what happened is the zip tie loosens up on these things, and then there she goes. Oh, has anyone tried Battlefield 6, by the way? Battlefield 6, there's like an open beta. Apparently, people are saying Battlefield might be back. Who knows? Might be back. Might be actually like a good game again. We'll see, I guess. What I was gonna say is I have my whip finish tool, and I think this is what I remember. I feel like this is deja vu. I feel like we went through this exact scenario before. God, where is my whip finish tool? God only knows. Is it over here? I'm actually curious. Hold on, I'm gonna look real quick. No, I don't think it's there. It must be up top. Is it? Huh. Might have disappeared on me. Yeah, I don't even know where that is. I was wondering where the hell that whip finished. I mean, I never use them, so don't really care. But I was wondering where the hell that whip finish tool went. No. When I say vote, I'm gonna make a poll essentially, or a vote. What do you call it? Using whatever the features in Twitch and YouTube or whatever. Garbanzo, thank you for the follow on Twitch. Appreciate that. Hope you're doing well. All right. Yeah, I think we tried this, and I remember trying this. Do you not remember this, Cragger Roll? Like me trying to do that, and I just couldn't do it. Excuse me. I use loons, but it could be tricky to hold it. I want to say you make like, so I remember like we made a loop, and we tried putting the material in it, and then what, you spin it or something and wrap it. But I remember we tried it, and all the material just like fell out of it or something. I mean, we can always try it. We can always try it. I wouldn't mind actually though buying a tool though. Yeah, I feel like I vividly remember us trying to do this before. And the only reason I remember is I failed completely. That's probably why I vividly remember it, because it wasn't a good outcome from it. Okay. The other thing is I wanted to, for any folks that have any ideas, someone recommended a video idea, which was how to pick bucktail from where on the tail. Why would you take hair from here versus there? And is there a difference between them? So essentially that's what somebody asked. And I was like, that's a pretty good way of, that's like a good digestible, easy to break down and come up with video idea without, because I do want to make videos or like a series on bucktails, and because bucktails like probably one of the most utilized materials in saltwater fly tying. Like 90% of the stuff we do in this is pretty much with bucktail. So there's probably 100 different videos, but that's a really good first one to kind of understanding how to use them. So if anyone has any ideas, obviously I'm going to talk about the stiffness of the hair and how the hair reacts. So what I was thinking is, first off, taking a tail, an example tail, because every tail is different, and that's the other thing. One of the things I'll mention is a lot of times the hair will be softer up top and will be stiffer down low. So if you take hair down low and you pinch it hard with your thread, it's going to flare, right? Flare much more than something like a softer hair that may be better for a hollow tie. But what you'll find is some tails, the hair is softer down low and then it's stiff up top. So not every tail is different. That's one of the things I'm going to talk about. The other thing I'm going to talk about is, I just had it, now I forgot it. Is showing, okay, well now, for instance, this is softer hair that's up top. So what do we do with this? And show examples of what the hair does. Not flies. Maybe I'll show examples of flies and just real quick mention flies that we've tied. Like, for instance, this fly that we've tied here on the channel, you can see. And I can use that without having to film. But I may also film specifically, try and film how the hair reacts, to the thread and tying it. So those are like the main ideas, and that's a pretty good, that should be like formulating that and filming it and then editing it. I should be able to get like, I'm trying to get like a good 10-15 minute long video essentially out of it. Because YouTube hates videos that's under 10 minutes. But so I think that's pretty good. But if anyone has any talking points or stuff that you want me to talk about or, film or whatever, point out, or you have any ideas that you could help contribute to this video idea in particular, let me know. That's something I wanted to mention because there are a lot of times when we talk about stuff and somebody brings up a good point. All right. Oh, I don't know why my mic cable hates being moved nowadays. It must be getting pretty old. But what we need to do is we need to pick a winner for. Oh wait, when did last week's video come out? It came out Monday. All right, we're gonna wait till next week. Yeah. I like to give it at least a full week. If you haven't, I'll pull it up actually though. I'm sure most of you folks have. But if you haven't, let's go to my channel. Give me one sec here. If you haven't, check out the tying the sand eel bend back with a lead keel. We're giving away this fly. So the last video of the month, usually, even though this was in August, what you do is all you got to do is comment, like, and subscribe. So I'm sure mostly everybody here has done it, but if not, and if anyone watches this after, because some people watch the streams after, I usually leave it open like a week or two before, what do you call it? Um, so that way people have a little bit of time to get in there and, hop on in there and all that. So, anyways, so we'll do that next week. We always do it on a live stream, because why not? Because it's fun. So, okay. All right. That being said, let me think about how I'm going to figure this out, because I need to put together polls or voting. Start a Q&A? No, it's going to be a poll. Just give me a second. I'm going to look real quick here. Add an option, add an option. So, like, for instance, I could do, like, bucktail. Let me make sure. I don't think I'm doxing anything here. So, for instance, there's the poll down here. I have, like, four options. So I could say, what material should we use? Like that, for instance. Now let me see Twitch making a poll. Create new poll. And maybe what we'll do is, like, we could pick a hair, we could pick a feather, and we can pick something. I don't know. This is where you folks help me come up with this. So what I was thinking is how we structure this is we structure it via essentially having I'll have like four options for materials, and then I was thinking is we vote like 2 times or 3 times, pick like 3 different materials, or maybe what I'll do is I'll pick 3 out of the 4 out of which ones are picked the highest, right? Even though we don't have a lot of a ton of viewers, so maybe if we all get picked one thing, that's one thing. I'm trying to figure out how I formulate this. So like how do I do multiple polls for and then pick the highest material from each and then pick the techniques, or do we do one and pick see which is the highest rated materials, maybe pick 2 out of the 4 and then do a vote for techniques and pick 2 out of the 4 techniques that we have to use? I don't know. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Is almost like making it so where you folks vote and then I have to use that materials and use those techniques. Tail, body, head. That could be a good one. Tail, body, head. What material do we use for the tail, for the body, for the head? Yeah, that's a good idea. I like that. So we could do multiple polls then, right? All right. So we could do multiples, right? Okay. And then I'm trying to think of so what do I do for materials? Obviously, I know what materials I have. I have a ton, but do I do like do I go specifics where we pick or should I just pick something random like feathers? Like how do we do natural, synthetic feathers for the options? You know what I mean? So there's like natural hairs, feathers, or synthetics for the tails, and flat or flash. We could have those four, or do we go in specifics? Because with four, it would just be like bucktail, EP fiber, flashabou, or marabou, or something, right? And we have to pick from those. That's what I'm curious about. Maybe we do like natural hairs, synthetic hairs, feathers, or something else. That might be the way to do it. And then I could just pick something, you know what I mean? At random. Because it's like, of course, it's like how much we don't want to have it to where we have to do votes for like 30 minutes, you know what I mean, to figure it out. It'd be ideal if we could do it in like a couple. Maybe we just start with materials for this one. We'll see. All right. Well, we got something to think about. I want you folks to think about it. Think about it. I'm going to think about it. And I'm going to take a quick break. I'm just going to go stretch my back real quick. Every hour and 15, whatever, I like to get up while we're streaming. Take a quick break. Use the restroom if you gotta. Grab some snacks. Grab a drink. And I'm just going to stretch real quick, grab some fresh air, and then I'll be back in just a couple minutes. All right? We're going to play our Albie highlight. So I'll be back about halfway through it, a little after. So, alrighty. We'll see you. Think about what we should do for this voting game, if you will. So. Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. Stay tight, alright? Yep, keep it tight. Yeah, dude. Yeah, Aiden. Knuckle buster. Are you good? Do you need me to do anything?
Yeah, I might need a ride. Yes.
Okay. Hold on, I'm gonna turn now.
I'm gonna try and get on the valve.
Yeah, get on the valve. Alright, you're doing good. Keep doing your thing. I'm gonna move us away.
Is that a little one?
No, that's a nice one.
Oh, let's go!
Come here, hold next to your alley. Good job.
That's sick.
Alright. Nice.
Let's go! Woo! Albie slap!
Good job, dude.
Yee yee!
You're in the bathroom already?
Looking down the barrel of a 12 gauge little tuny, bro. On the Albihar too.
Oh my god, dude! What the fuck? Woohoo! Oh my god. Yep. Oh my god!
All right. I did see a manatee was spotted in Massachusetts. Mm-hmm. I did see that. Apparently, it's not the first time, right? That's interesting, though, as usual, as one would expect, or not as one would expect. All right. Well, let's try this. Let me type out some options. What material should we use for the tail? Natural hair. Synthetic hair. I'll hold on, Lima. I got a little poll for you guys here in a sec. 2015, huh? Oh, interesting. Maybe the Albies will show up. Is that when we were catching Albies? No, not 2015. When were we catching the Albies? When did it say? 2020. Feathers. And what was the last option? Oh, flash. Oh man, I'm gonna have to type it for each one. It'd be nice if I could like make it. So let me start the poll for YouTube now. I'll type it out for All right. Both polls should be on the chat. I'm going to leave this one open for 2 minutes on Twitch. All right. Both polls are going in YouTube and Twitch right now. So vote what sort of material should we use for the tail section of this fly. We're trying something new out where we have you guys vote or come up with what materials I use, and then it's almost like a little challenge. I think what might be interesting would be to come up with a list, right? And then maybe have you guys vote for that, and then I'm trying to think how I could streamline it. I also want to have randomize the techniques, but maybe I make a table and we have a dice where you can roll a d6 or like a d8, and it picks. You pick 3 different techniques, and we have 3 different materials for the tail, body, and head or something. So we don't have to vote like a bunch of times, because it would take like 13, 14 minutes to vote for everything. So let me make a list real quick. Name some techniques that should be on the list. And we're going to roll a d8. For those of you that don't know, I also do a lot of tabletop wargaming stuff as well as TTRPGs. I've played a lot of D&D. I've DM'd Savage Worlds and Warhammer type games. I'm using a Sony a6400 body and the starter lens from the a6000 kit, the 630. How you doing? Right now we're only filming in HD, but when I film my fly time videos, they're in 4K, and it's crazy, the quality. All my thumbnails, I get better thumbnails from my 4K in editing screenshots than I do, like, I'm trying to take photos, I feel like. So, long time no see. Hope you're doing well. Do I have a pen or something? All right, what techniques should I use? We'll go, obviously, there's many different types, but I'll just start off with, like, V-tie as a technique for a 1 on the D8. So when we roll a 1, that's a 5, but if we rolled a 1, we would have to use a V-tie. So give me some more techniques. There's obviously hollow ties as well. We'll make a hollow tie an 8. You know, you want to space it out so like the wild techniques are on the far end. So maybe V-tie shouldn't be a 1, but so what are some techniques we should use? We got V-tie. Maybe we move V-tie. V-tie might go in the middle. So you know what I'm saying? Like the easiest or the like most common techniques are in the middle, and the most wild ones are on the outside, because you're more likely to roll like a 2 to 7. I feel like maybe not, but that's how they do that with tables a lot of times. Also, don't forget, use vote in the polls. I think the polls closed on Twitch, so let's close the poll on YouTube. Let's see what we got. Can I look at the poll? I can. Oh, it's tied. Great. So YouTube's tied between synthetic hairs and feathers for the tail section, and let's see what Twitch's poll results are. Natural hairs won by 67%, and synthetic hair won by 33%. I think that means due to Twitch and the tiebreaker. I have to scale this by votes. So we got 2 votes for natural, we got 3 votes for synthetic, and 2 votes for feathers. So we're going synthetic. Synthetic hair. Okay. Synthetic hair it is. All right, synthetic hair is our first material we're going with. Now let me make another poll. New poll. Oh man, I can't just like, can I not reuse the same poll as a template? I have to retype it? What kind of BS is this? It's on Twitch's end and YouTube. Okay. So now, what material should we use for the body? For the body, now here's a question. Do we use the same list of materials? Yeah, I think so. What was it? Synthetics or natural hair? Synthetic hair. Feathers. And flash. We'll start the YouTube one. Now I'll do the Twitch one. Body, natural hairs, and... Oh, dude, I'm mistyping half this stuff. Synthetic hairs, feathers, flash. 2 minutes. All right, Twitch and YouTube, go. Vote on the poll. Go for it. What should we use? In the meanwhile, give me some options for techniques. I'm gonna put hollow technique for an 8. I'm gonna put V-tie as a 4. What's another crazy technique? Like, we have hollow tying is pretty wild. What's another wild technique? Maybe spinning hair? Like, hollow is pretty interesting, right? Hollow tying. Dubbed could be a body or technique. Yeah, you could dub. I'll put dubbing on 5. No, I'll put dubbing on 2. Flat wing, you can't really flat wing with, you know what I mean? And you can, but that's, I don't know if that's really a technique I would put. We don't have to do 8, by the way. We could always scale it, but I think we can do 8. I'm also just gonna put like standard, because standard, in my opinion, is kind of like just tying the material normally, where it's just going off the back. I'm just gonna put that. Yeah, but brush, I want it to be where you can take any material and do it. Theoretically, you could take any material and dub it. You could take any material and hollow tie it, even if it's flash. You know what I mean? I think spinning. I'm gonna put spinning up here, because you can spin stuff. I don't know if that will apply. We can always adjust this, right? Like a brush, theoretically, we could do a brush if I was able to make the brushes whenever I wanted to, right? What are more techniques? Okay, so we got V-ties, hollow ties, standard ties, dubbing, spinning. Oh God, there's got to be more. I'm just not thinking. What am I not thinking of right now? We can always scale it down, but I feel like there's more techniques. So what's flies that we would do? And what are some things that we would do? This is a good idea to do this anyway, just to like come up with all the different techniques you can do in saltwater fly tying. There is like cross tying, you know, for materials, which is similar to V tying. Like Merkin style. What do they call it? Figure 8 tying. Which I guess theoretically is a style of tying, right? Or is a technique you can do of attaching material to the hook. It's kind of what I'm thinking. What would that be? Figure 8? I'm going to put it down. Like a merkin. Building a body that way. Palmered? Palmered's a good one. Yep, because you can wrap stuff. Even though that may not work for everything, you could... That's still... We can always re-roll if it's not applicable, I guess. And this is our first iteration. We can, like, come up with a new list. There's got to be one more technique. Spinning. material, dubbing material, figure 8 tying the material, V tying the material, standard just tying it on there, palmering the material, blank and hollow tying. No, not epoxy. No, because you can, I guess, but no. I'm trying to think of like, The other option is what I like to call semi-hollow, where it's like where we do, what do they call that stuff? Sento's laser dub, and I tie it in the middle. So it's like half the material is tied normally, and then half the material is folded back like a hollow tie. I don't know if there's a name for it. We should come up with a name for it. Can you braid it? I mean, that's kind of like dubbing, right? Because what would you do with braided material? You'd probably wrap it. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. Is there any other techniques that I'm not thinking about? There's got to be something. I can't think of it right now. I know there's got to be something else we could do with materials. I'm just going to put for now, we'll call it the half hollow. That's kind of what I've been calling it, the half hollow technique. And you'll see how it works. Okay, so our first material was synthetic hair. Let's see what the polls say. Let me close the YouTube one. Twitch one's ended. What do we got? Again, YouTube is a tie, so we're looking at Twitch for the tiebreaker. Oh, we got 2 votes for feathers and 1 for natural hair. And meanwhile, on YouTube, we got a vote for natural hair and a vote for synthetic. So that means 2 votes of natural hair and 2 votes for feathers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll a D6. And do I have a D6 in this bag? Yeah, I do. I have a Pokemon one, of course. We're going to do what's called a D2, I guess we'll call it. Or we'll just do odds or evens. So odds, it's feathers, and evens, it's natural hair. All right. What did I say? Odds is feathers, right? So we're going for feathers. Feathers for the body. Yes. And now the whole idea is I have you guys vote on the materials, and then I roll up randomly how I tie those materials on the hook. And we could come up with maybe some interesting stuff. All right, last poll. Get ready. I want everybody watching the stream to interact with it and vote. Give me 1 sec here. What should we use for the head? Add option. Natural hair, synthetic. I'm just going to type sin hair, make it easier. Feathers, flash. All right, it started up on YouTube. Let me type it up for Twitch. Shit. Nat hairs, synthetic hairs, and when I say nat hairs, I mean natural. All right. Feathers, flash. Just to for you guys' sake. All right, there we go. Both polls are up. So right now we have synthetic hair for the tail section. For the body section, we have feathers. And for the head section, that is what you are voting on. So go ahead and vote now what materials should we use, and then we have our D8 chart here, or table of techniques. We'll call this the fly tying table of techniques, the D8 fly tying table of techniques. The holy scroll or tome that'll be passed down for generations. So this is like a new fly tying. The other thing we could do, I'm trying to involve you guys from voting, or from voting. I'm trying to involve you guys with voting. But the other option would be you could just make a D8 or a D6 list, right? Or you can make a D20 list of materials in reality of your materials, and then you have your techniques. And what you do is you roll on your materials and your techniques, and it's like a little game that also kind of forces you to step outside the box and try new things with fly tying. That was kind of the whole idea. It could be fun, like, see what, we could do like a video like this. I might make a D20 list and like put this, we'll like refine it and then we'll put it out there, for everybody. And you can play it if you like, or do it for yourself. Your fly randomizer is what we'll call it. And then we build an app, There you go, easy money. I can't remember what that's called, but I think it's not usually done in the middle. It's usually 2/3 going back towards the eye, 1/3 going back. Gotcha. I usually do it in the middle. That's how I usually do it. Maybe a little bit more towards the back. You're right. So it tapers nicely. Yeah. I guess theoretically, yeah, usually. But you get the idea, the half hollow. All right. All right, the poll is ended for Twitch. Let's close it up for YouTube. Let's see what we got. I like how 2 people are voting on YouTube, and each time it's a tie. So let's see. We got feathers and flash. So 1 for feathers, 1 for flash on YouTube. And on Twitch, we have 1 for natural hairs, 1 for synthetic hairs, and 1 for flash. So if I'm not wrong, feathers is the only one that only got 1 there, or the only one that got 2 is flash. So we're going flash for the head. Ooh. All right, so now the real tricky part. Now this is where RNG can really screw me up. Also, by the way, I think you're allowed to curse in the beginning of the first certain amount of time of YouTube videos. They're not gonna they would not monetize you before. Now you can. So that's pretty interesting. They changed it. I watched a video from YouTube from their creators camp, so you can like curse in the first 7 seconds of the video and still get monetized, which is awesome. But anyway, what can really fuck you over, pardon my French, is if we roll hollow tying with flash, for instance, or like spinning flash. Like, how are we're gonna have to spin like deer hair with flash. That could be interesting. I think I already know what I would do for that. I'd probably use like angel hair or something, or maybe like that. Anyways, let's roll on the table of doom and see what we get. All right. So first up, for the synthetic hair, how will we be tying our synthetic hair for the tail? We're going to be hollow tying the synthetic material for the tail. Okay. Starting off strong. That's good. I like that. I've hollow tied for tail sections before, and synthetics are no different. What are we going to do for the feathers? Now this, oh God, this could be interesting. Now, I don't think I've ever V-tied feathers. Imagine we took marabou and V-tied the marabou. Like, I've never done that once in my life, but now I'm looking at the list and I'm like, oh, well, that's something you can do. What if we figure 8-tied feathers for what, I don't know why, but what if we did as like, I don't know, fins or something. So that's pretty interesting. But what I think is, if it says we're going to be using feathers for the body, that means I should, for like the majority of the material that I'm using for the body should be feathers, for instance. Right. Let's see. The Table of Doom. Oh my God. All right. Now this is, if anybody, let me tell you something. I'm an anomaly when it comes to dice rolling. I rolled 3 16s on D100s. If you don't know what a D100 is, I was filming a video for 5 Parsecs yesterday, or the other night, for my second YouTube channel. And what happens is a D100, I'll show you. I rolled 3 of the same results 3 times in a row. So a D100, you have essentially D10s. It goes 1 through 10. Then you have your 10s die. So this goes 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and 100, or 90 and 100. So I rolled this 3 times, and I got a 16 twice, or 3 times in a row. So there's something, I'm just saying, we might get another hollow tie. My ability to roll the same result on dice is astonishing. I think I've rolled, like, I don't even ask, but I've rolled, like, while we were playing D&D one time. I don't know what I was rolling, but my buddy was like, stop doing that. And I kept rolling the same result over and over. And I did it like 10 times in a row. And I was just staring him in the eyes while doing it. Like I was putting a curse on him. I did it again! I just rolled the dice too. I'm shaking it. It only happens when it matters. It only happens when it matters. All right, we got another. Oh, there's another 8. All right, we got a hollow. We're hollow tying the flash for the head. My God. Jesus. All right. Well, if you're not like me, you will get other results. If you're like me, you'll just roll the same thing on the table. Somehow you'll mathematically be an anomaly. But for other people, you will get other results. All right. Okay, so that being said, we're hollow tying synthetic hair for the tail, we're hollow tying feathers for the body, and we're hollow tying flash for the head. Alright, let's make Popovix proud. I can remember what that's called, but I think it's usually done in the middle. Oh, yeah. In the middle of stand up taller. Yep. Oh, dear Lord, 40 Hail Marys on the corn. Okay. All right, so now this is where I'm just going to ask you folks, just type in chat, what do you think I should use for, okay, just you could say one thing, you could say all 3. We got synthetic hair, that's a hollow. We got body feather, we got feathers that were hollow tying, and we got flash that were hollow tying. Just start typing materials out of those 3 that you think I should use. Should we use Steve Farrar fiber? Should we use Slinky fiber? Should we use EP fiber? Should we use Squimpish hair? Right? Should we use Marabou? Should we use Hackle? Should we use Rhea? Should we use Ostrich? Should we use Flashaboo? Should we use well, I can't really hollow tie a Staz, but angel hair? Should we use whatever? You know what I mean? Like that. So start, if you see something on the list, we got, synthetic hairs, we got body feathers, we got flash. Start typing materials you know or that you want to see me use. And I think I know what I'm going to do, but I also want to see what you guys are talking about. Yo, what's going on, Colin? How you doing? By the way, I got to send that out to you. We have, these are flies I'm going to be going probably to the post office, either tomorrow or like maybe Monday or something, but I'm just going to package your guys. You get 1 fly in an envelope. But we got Jin and Colin, as well as DW, who is the person we picked. He's actually over in Europe. We're going to send that over. But we got Jin. This is from June. Jin and June. We got Jin, Colin, and DW from YouTube. That was from last month. And we got Broom and Jimmy Crack Corn. What's going on, Jimmy? By the way, in YouTube. That was from just the other day we picked. So I'm going to ship this stuff out to you guys, all right? Just letting you know, we're going to get caught up with that. So a couple of you folks are in chat, so I figured I'd let you know. And it'll probably come in like a week or something, but I like to just let folks know. Some people are so excited. They're like, dude, when you... I'm like, you'll get it. Or Polar Flash for the head. Ooh, okay. Squimpish, Marabou, Krelex. I don't know what Krelex is. What's Polar Flash? Is Polar Flash like angel hair type thing? Like that, like sort of material where it's got some texture to it? Ostrich Flashaboo, okay. I know polar fibers like the craft fiber we use. What's Polar Flash? Let me look it up. Oh, I have some of this stuff. This is Polar Flash. Yeah. Oh, this might be good actually. Yeah, this is what we were using on the Baja Deceivers for saltwaterflies.com. Mm-hmm. The Flashabus. Okay, Polar Flash for the head. I like it. We're picking it. Polar Flash. Ostrich. Ostrich and Marabou for the body. And Squimpish for the tail. All right. Sounds good. Is that different than Flashaboo? Technically, yes. They are both made by Hedron, if I'm not wrong. But I'll show you right now the difference. Because I have both right here. It almost feels like synthetic material mixed with flash, but it's just like a different textured flash. I have had some materials that feel like they're like synthetic materials mixed, like truly synthetics mixed with flash, but it looks more like flash. So this is Polar Flash. So let me... So you can see the texture difference. It's almost like a synthetic material in the texture. There's like some flash in there, and then there's stuff that almost looks like it's synthetic, but it is all flash. Which is synthetic material, but it has like a crinkliness to it that almost gives it more like a synthetic material texture to it, right? Compared to your traditional Flashaboo, which is a much smoother texture, like a much finer texture. So it's going to be harder to do that sort of technique. Now, let me see. Do I have a different color, or do I just have this color of Polar Flash? I think I had another one, but this is not a material I use very often, so... Every once in a while, I throw it in as a substitute, or I'll just throw it into random flies that I tie for orders because it looks nice. But I don't always have it on hand, so I try not to make it like part of a lot of fly patterns because I just don't always have it. But do I have a more subdued color? Or are we going to be going with bronze? That's okay if we're going with bronze. I like it. Because we're going to probably have a lighter color underneath in the terms of the ostrich and marabou. I organized a lot of this recently, but like I gotta go through, I gotta like repackage a lot of flashes. I have a lot of flashes that are just loose and they kind of get all beat up over time, you know what I mean? It's better to keep them in the packages, but I mean, over time you just lose them, right? That's just how it is. Oh, I found some ostrich. Look at that. Take that. All right, last but not least, we need some Squimpish and we need some marabou. All right. Well, we're using gold for the head. All right, gold for the head. We're using white for the body. What color should we use for the tail? I got a bunch of random colors here. I do have some whites and stuff as well. Should we just use white for the tail? Or should we use colors? Should we use orange? The hell is Squimpish? It's a synthetic material that was created by David Nelson, who is also the creator of the Squimpish technique, which is just like kind of a cool style of fly tying. And it's a substitute to things like bucktail. It's not a replacement, but it's a different type of material, and you're going to see how we use it. Flash of purple? You want some purple in there? We'll put some perp skirt. Should we use another color, or we go straight perp? Oh, you get a little perp skirt? Sure. Let's go with some blue, maybe. Yeah, we'll go a little blue with it. Yeah, it's very different compared to a lot of synthetic materials. It's very rare new synthetic material comes out that is different. This is similar to like wig hair, but not wig hair. It's more like prop hair. If they made like if they were making a show and they were making like some show with a Bigfoot or like something like that or like a Yeti, that this would be like that. It's not like other fly tying materials. It's not like EP fiber and how it tapers or how it is. It's not like any other synthetics. It's like a synthetic, like Icelandic yak sheep hair type thing. Synthetic Yeti hair is what it is. It's weird. But that being said, that's why we like using it because it has its own place. Okay. My desk is a little bit of a mess, so let's just pink and blue. Yep. Just kind of a pinkish purple. I think we got that. I like the dice rolling. Who doesn't like dice rolling when you love tabletop stuff like me? But it's kind of fun rolling to see how you tie your fly. Okay. We need a large enough hook. Let's use a 4-aught Gamakatsu, which over here. Where my gummies at? Where's my giant box of Gamakatsu? Oh, I think I put them in here. Is that where they're? Yeah, there we go. Had me worried for a second. I was like, damn, bro. Wow, I'm actually getting low on these 4-aughts. That is crazy. I've went through about $500 worth of these hooks this summer so far. Tying commercial orders. Is the 4-aught 100 boxes little? I think it's close to $90 or $80. All right. So I think we can use mono. Should be fine. 5-aught. Yeah, this is a 4-aught Gamakatsu. This has got a pretty serious. You can see. Pretty serious gape on it. Gape, whatever. All right. So I'm just going to use the materials we got. I'm not going to add anything else. We're just going to go for it. Now I'm going to ask you folks, should I blend the purple and blue together, or should I tie the purple on the inside of the blue and have the blue on the outside? Because I want the blue and then the white. Can you use a circle hook on a build like that? Are you talking about the vise or on the fly? You can use a circle hook on any fly. You just need to adjust how you fish it in terms of not, you want to let the fish turn and hook themselves. Inside and outside, yeah. I don't want to make this fly too long because the marabou isn't that long. I guess the ostrich, depending on how long we use the ostrich. The whole idea is like, I always think about tapering the material so that it flows nicely. We don't want to have really long material and then really stubby material for the body and then long material for the head. It's just the proportions aren't right. So I always try to think about stuff like that. How am I going to go in terms of, how am I going to lay this fly out in terms of tapering. Something to think about. And with the limited length of the materials, like hollow tying this flash, I don't know if I want to necessarily hollow tie it quite long. But I don't know. I guess we'll see. Maybe we do. I think the ostrich, we can always find, I have other ostrich I can use. Excuse me. So I guess I can increase the length a little bit. I'll get a little bit more squimpish, increase the length. Also get some more material going in there. So the nice thing is when you cut squimpish in half and you just pull the ends a little bit, we're back to square one. We're back to like a natural looking taper to the material because it's so thin. But it still has a certain texture to it and how it reacts to tying. So, which means we can do things like hollow tie with it. Let's take some blue as well. We need more than that. Might end up having more purple than blue, but you know what? That's okay. I was going to intend it the other way around, but you know, we shall see. What is a hollow tie? It's where we tie the material forward facing and then fold it back, and we don't tie on top of it. We build a thread dam in front of it. You're going to see here in a sec. You don't know the hollow tie, the 603? God damn, we got to show you. It's one of Popovic's, rest in peace. It's one of his most like famous flies nowadays. So I'll show you. Well, we got to teach it. I have a video for a hollow fly you can always check out to like sit down and actually like properly learn it. Also, this for some, oh, I know why this is like this. It's because it was wrapped up a certain way, but that's all right. We'll make it work. Ideally, we'd have this kind of sitting like that, but whatever. Just because the material was kind of wonky from being folded in half like this. So ideally, I probably just cut that instead of trying to keep it super long. So you can see what we're doing is we're tying it forward facing, right? And what we're going to do is when we're ready, we're going to fold it backwards like this. And what happens is the material's under tension. So look, you can adjust by tying thread in front of the material, not on top of it, because if you tie on top, it squeezes it. By tying in front of it, we can adjust that flare. And next thing you know, you have a bunker fly. So for striper fishing, I think you have a striper in your profile pic, right? Is that what that is? It's for in general, for any sort of, you know, imitating bait fish, it's an amazing technique. All right, but we are going to add more purple. Again, that blue's kind of screwed up, but I think it'll be all right once we fold it. I'm not going to worry about it. It's a good test to see if that squimpish hair will stick like that and be annoying or what. Has anyone seen the moon tonight? The bass must be on fire. No, is it a full moon or something? Is it crazy? I'll take a look when I get done with the stream. I need to go fishing. I have not gone since like June. So I just got to suck it up, Buttercup, and get out there just for my mental health, probably. Maybe this weekend or something. I keep saying I should go during the week, but then I don't go. So I need to like just go, but we'll see. I should go and film. Even if I don't catch fish, the whole idea is I want to film for a video about fishing techniques and stuff. So those are some of my most viewed videos now that I've made, like that spring fishing or things like that. All right, so now we fold it back, right? And we're not going to tie on top, we're going to tie in front of it. We weave our thread through. Now look, that was like 3 or 4 wraps in front. Now look what's going on. The material's under tension. depending on how much tension we put in front of it, it's going to adjust this. So now if we move up the hook shank and we tie like this, we can get a beautiful looking profile and pattern that keeps its shape in the water, but isn't heavy and doesn't have a lot of materials. See that? So now to adjust it, we just build a thread dam in front by tying thread in front of the fly and slowly building up the thread pressure in front of the material. It's going to collapse the material behind it, allowing us to adjust the shape and profile that we want of the fly. Might take a little while, especially if you use a certain type of thread. It could take forever to build up a proper thread dam. But we're going to keep it pretty flared out. Full moon, super moon. Oh, I saw, yeah, somebody posted something. Maybe it was like the other day we had it or something. It was like a red moon or something. Going over like the going the Eiffel Tower, going over the Statue of Liberty. Some cool photos I saw. There we go. Something that's important is always put super glue on the threads, not the material. Put super glue on the threads because your threads can move at times. More so with other types of thread. I think I've found that mono doesn't happen as much. One thing is with Squimpish, you can actually put the super glue on the material a little bit and it'll have a slight chemical reaction and it'll harden and it'll help keep that shape and profile, but that's only with Squimpish, not bucktail. Traditionally this fly is tied with bucktail. That's how most people do it. This is something in particular with Squimpish hair you can do because it's the synthetic material. It has a chemical reaction and it'll actually harden. Might even start smoking here in a little bit. Rust is forming on top of the moon. Oh, yeah? Your brain just exploded? Yeah, you realize Popovich exploded just about everybody's brain with this technique when he came out with it. I remember when I first saw it, it was in an article of Saltwater Fly Fishing Magazine back in like 2003. I don't know when the article came out, but it was like one of the first times like he published an article with the hollow technique. And I remember I brought a bunch of bucktail. It just came out and we went to Turkey and I brought my vise and a bunch of bucktail and it was wintertime in Turkey. And I sat down and I tried to learn how to do it. And I still probably for a couple of years I never even figured it out. Now I've got a pretty good understanding on how to do it, but I'm still not like Andrew Custom Flies sort of guy where I tie the most beautiful bucktail ones ever. But all right, that being said, now we're going to hollow tie everything else. So what does that mean? We're going to hollow tie ostrich, which I've never done. And we're going to hollow tie marabou, which I've never done. So here's what I think we do. We start off with the ostrich. Whatever you tie first will be on the outside. On the inside, we hollow tie marabou. The marabou will create a cushion for the ostrich. That's what we're going to do. And I think we just move up a little bit and we'll do 2 hollow ties of ostrich and marabou. Because I've never done this, so this is the whole point of this exercise, I'll call it, or the LI Flies Mike. We're going to come up with it. We'll call it a game. I'll publish it. I'll sell a little PDF for $2 with the extra special rules, where I'm going to come up with all tables, and you can buy the tables for like $2. And I'll become rich. I'll fix my boat. Haha. Probably not, but all right. So we're going to go with some ostrich. We'll go with shorter ostrich for the belly. Longer ostrich for the top. There's a lot of ostrich we're going to be using as well. Now, has anyone here ever taken actual ostrich herl and just straight up hollow tied the ostrich herl? I've hollow tied it on top of bucktail, but I've never just hollow tied it. So this will be interesting. You want to do minimal wraps, by the way, with the hollow tie. You don't want a lot of wraps when you're working with it. The least amount of wraps, the better. And you always want to keep your thread wraps perfectly even top and bottom. Really, 603, you got to go to my YouTube. You got to check out the holo video I have, or anybody's holo video. But really, the most important thing is even wraps top and bottom. Very, very important. Otherwise, when you fold it back, you'll see that uneven wrap. It'll screw the whole thing up. And when you yeah, I tie ostriches a lot. In fact, I just got a new shipment of feathers with only like 30 feathers at a time. It's like $10 at Amazon. Really? What, do you get 30 ostrich feathers? Oh man, send a link of that in Discord. Post that. Let me know. I'll pick one of those up. You pull out the peacock feathers, they get depressed, and then they'll never mate again. They'll stop eating and die. Yeah, I'm pretty certain they don't pull peacock feathers out of living animals. I'm pretty sure they kill the peacocks and take the feathers and then eat them. Like, it's probably farm-raised peacocks, I'm assuming. They farm-raise them for their feathers. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they do pluck them. But, you know. Sucks to be a peacock, I guess. I heard they eat pretty good. That's horrible. I mean, I hate to say it, but a lot of the deer tails you get are probably farm raised. I wish it's always nice to get natural deer tails as opposed to farm raised, but a lot of deer tails you buy are farm raised, so. Because I'd much rather get wild deer tails because A, the deer are out there. They're screwing. They're having a good time. We have to kill them because they're screwing too much and they're overpopulated. So you don't feel bad about it. And they've just been out there banging each other anyway for the past couple of years, nonstop. And then you cut off their tail and tie flies with it too. Yeah, but I think stuff like that, like I think they like cook peacock probably in like maybe some restaurants, or they sell the meat, in some like exotic meat places or something. There's no way they like waste the peacock meat, because I know it tastes good. I know it eats like a chicken from what I've heard. So I'm certain, just like everything else, just like the deer farms, they are selling the venison. That's why they're doing it, but they're also selling the hair too. They're not throwing away really anything. They sell it all, or make use of it all in some way. So I'm assuming they're doing the same. They're probably eating the peacocks, or, You've never heard of people eating peacocks? I definitely have. Enough of the tail feathers fall off to meet demand? Really? Maybe they could just go around and pick them up? I assume they were farm-raised peacocks. I remember seeing stuff about people eating peacocks, like going to other countries and stuff, and they eat them. They hunt them and eat them. Maybe I'm wrong. I just assumed, there's literally a bison farm not too far from me. So, and we're in Long Island, New York. So, people eat everything. I didn't know peacocks shed feathers. Oh, okay. I assumed that they were just eating them. I mean, people raise everything. People raise gators. You can buy gator meat. There's like some restaurants here on the island that sell like gator and bison and antelope and all this stuff. So I just assumed people were eating the hell out of them, but maybe not. Maybe what I'm thinking of, was it in Ace Ventura he ate one? I remember I watched a movie and they ate a peacock. Maybe, and then from childhood I just assumed that people ate peacocks. Let me type, do people eat peacocks? Let's Google it right now. You ready? Do people regularly get rabies vaccines, die on cruises, talk to themselves, regret tattoos, often die on the toilet, often get sick on cruises, often get back together, often lie in their resume, or often die from pneumonia? People are fucking freaking out on Google. Do people regularly eat peacocks? Ah, okay. While peacocks are technically edible, they are not regularly eaten by most. Peacock meat is more of a delicacy and is often associated with historical banquets or certain cultural practices rather than everyday meals. Some people find their taste similar to turkey or richer, while others find it dry. Ah, okay. So maybe it is like I saw them eating it in like another country or something. You know what I mean? Some people who have eaten peacock describe it tasting similar to turkey, but richer, more flavorful than chicken. Others find it a little dry, though, if not cooked properly. Peacock meat is not commonly found in grocery stores or butchers, but and it can be expensive due to its limited availability and the fact that they are not commercially raised on a large scale. Oh, okay. Well, people eat them though. It's not a widespread practice, though. It looks like so. It is raised for meat. Some people do. Some restaurants might serve it. You know, I wouldn't be surprised. There's like peacock served in a restaurant around here, and that's why I'm like, people eat this shit. I didn't know the feathers fall off that easily though. Hmm. Interesting. So I guess back in Britain, it used to be a. I tell you what, if I live somewhere where there are peacocks and you live in some country, uh, and I'm chilling with the locals, and they're like, "Hey, you want to go eat that? You want to go shoot that peacock with a bow and eat it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm down, dude." You know what I mean? It's a big, colorful chicken. It looks like it tastes pretty good. Like if you were surviving somewhere out in like the wilderness and you saw one of those things, dude, oh my God, you jackpot. Yeah, but are peacocks wild in California now, right? Where are peacocks native? That's the other thing. Is it Africa or is it South America? Indian Sri Lanka. Okay, that kind of makes sense. There is some in Africa though. The Congo peacefowl. The green peacefowl is in Myanmar, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, and then India, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bhutan, Pakistan is where the Indian peacock comes from. Yeah. So somebody's just been releasing peacocks over there over the years. Yeah, I mean, dude, even turkeys, you got to watch out. Some of these birds got serious. They're like velociraptors, prehistoric looking things. All right, let's hollow tie our our ostrich hair, by the way, with our marabou on the inside. This will be interesting. All right. Well, we learned something new. I thought more people were eating peacocks. Apparently, not a lot of people are eating peacocks. But it does happen. And I guess what you guys are saying is their feathers fall off enough to where you can, let's just say you don't got to take them out back. You know what I mean? You can just wait till the feathers fall off. By the way, this actually might be pretty sick. I think we're going to do one ostrich tie too, because we're kind of running a little bit out on room. Maybe what I'll do is I will glue a head on the front of this thing, or I don't know. Kind of hard to build a thread dam on this because it's much easier to wrap on top of a feather, but that's pretty interesting. I've never hollow tied with marabou and feathers, or marabou and ostrich, but look at that. It kind of literally is reacting just like hollow material would in terms of how it's bending. You see that? Yeah, they're wild, they're just not native. I'm assuming. Unless there is a North American peacock, but it looks like they're all from Asia. Okay. Interesting. That's cool. They don't have to harm them. I bet you though, if I was one of those farmers, every once in a while you can't help it. You got to eat one. Like I'm very curious to what they taste like. Like now I'm like thinking I'm like, dude, do we have a chicken breast downstairs? I can make a sandwich after the stream because I feel like eating some chicken or something. People had a bunch and like let them go. Yeah. Well, it's just that's what I mean. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, now you got invasive peacocks. Yeah, I mean, I bet you they're not as gamey as deer or something. I bet you they're less gamey than deer. They're probably like wild turkey, I bet you. Like wild turkey has a particular taste. It doesn't taste like turkey you get in a store. You know what I mean? I bet you it's probably somewhat similar. It's probably not as fat, but even a wild turkey has nowhere near the amount of fat. They're way leaner. No, invasive just means they're not from the area. Swans are invasive, right? It doesn't matter like what scale they are. The term invasive just means they're not. Doesn't mean the scale of them. When I'm saying invasive, it means that they're just not native. How they got there, how bad it is, it's a whole different subject. So if we're hollow tying this, how long do we want it to be? Are we going like full length hollow tie, chat? Are we going like hook point? Like this? Because I'm a little worried about this, what do you call it? I'm a little worried about this fouling. Swans migrate. Swans were not in North America, or at least these white swans you see all over in the East Coast and all over. They came from people brought them over from England, and they're an extremely invasive creature, but they've just been tolerated for some reason, and they don't migrate here. We have them eat our clams during the wintertime in the salt ponds. They stay here year round, where we are at least. It's summertime and when it's iced over. We'll see him out there. But those white swans were specifically brought over from Europe, I think from England, because they look so nice. But unfortunately, they're just... I have no problem with them, but they are, like... They are straight up, like, they'll kick a lot of the geese out and ducks out, you know, because they're very territorial. So we watch them while we're streaming, like, they'll chase the ducks and geese around and stuff, so... I guess technically the real native, or at least, you know, waterfowl that are supposed to be migrating through the area or losing spawning grounds and stuff. The flash takes over the rest of the fly. I think it's the same length as the ostrich. That's what I think. Yeah. So we'll go similar. The flash will take over the fly, but this is part of the randomness of the table. Lima, you got to trust it. You got to trust the process. You know what I mean? Now, I will say the flash will not have anywhere near the same ability to, like, stand up on its own. So this might be interesting. I think we'll do 2 ties of the flash hollow. I mean, we could do 1 tie. So this is what I was thinking, is we do a tie a hollow with the flash, and then we glue eyes on it, because the flash is not going to be able to, like, you know what I mean? It's not going to be able to, No, you're good, Lima. It really is going to probably take over the fly. But that's just how she goes. And maybe that's the fish like it. You know what I mean? I think what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 ties a hollow, and I want one of the ties to be up against the ostrich. So there is a little bit of structure to it, and then we'll do 1 in front of it. I had an accident bass fishing once and hooked the swan. Dampening swam across the my line. Oh, dude, that's got to suck, because those are big birds. Yeah, those are big birds. You don't want to mess with them. Every year, a couple duck hunters die because swans will either flip over their canoes or their john boats or something like that. Something happens where somebody ends up in the water during February or January duck hunting when there's ice in the water, and they get hypothermia and die, or they drown because the swan essentially just, like, attacks them while they're in the water, and they can't, like, stay on the surface long enough, you know, and they usually just end up getting hypothermia. But every year, or at least, I mean, it's really like every year, every couple of years, somebody ends up dying to swans during the winter, because it's no joke. They can catch you if you're out there in waist deep water in mud, and it's like freezing cold duck hunting in the estuaries out here, and you get caught off guard and it gets you into the water. and you fall into the mud and get stuck or something. I could see it happening to where you could potentially just, and then it only takes so long. You're so far out because you had to drive your boat to the edge of a marsh to where your duck blind is. I could see somebody like getting hypothermia and dying. But I think what happens is people hunt off boats in the middle of the bay. You can do this as well. You can get in the middle of the bay and hunt because there's big schools of puddle ducks that go out in the middle of the bay, and that's where they'll like end up drowning. But yeah, it's happened before. Look it up. You can look it up. It's happened multiple times along Long Island. I want to say more to the fact to where it's like you got to be careful, especially in the wintertime. Oh, this is falling out. I got to wrap this down a little bit more. The one thing is you're going to have to use quite a bit of material of this to actually hollow tie it, but that's part of the fun, I guess. Yeah, I don't know when the last time this happened, but I remember it happened to somebody out here before. There are a couple people. Yeah, you never know though, right? Somebody could be drunk, right? They could have drank like 10 beer. They could be 10 Bud Lights deep at 10 a.m. duck hunting. Who knows? Oh, also let me close this damn poll so I can see my Twitch dashboard. There we go. Yeah, peacocks sound so cool that like, yeah, or they do this like really interesting like that. Right? I think they do like an interesting call. I think that's what it is. I'm trying to remember what their call sounds like. I think that sounds right. I mean, that's kind of interesting. So let's do one more on top of that. See, it's one thing to tie it on top of the ostrich, for instance, right? But it's another thing to tie it on itself. By the way, doing that looks sick. That actually looks pretty cool, right? I'm just gonna end up probably using all this flash, dude. Are we doing a race today? No, not today. We do that on the last. We do those on the last Friday of the month. You always want to get the short hairs, quote unquote, out of the way. That is a cool looking fly. It's definitely something different than we would have done today. There you go. Yeah, I've never hollow tied flash alone, so. Oh, Lima, don't say sorry. You're just asking questions. It's all good. I hope I don't sound like an asshole to where you got to type sorry in the chat every time. You're damn right. I'd almost like to see it finished with bucktail now. I know, but too bad. That's against the rules. Craggroll, you can do that on your own term, like your own time, all right? Or I'll do that. You have to trust the process. Okay? Trust the process. All right, so now the real question is, I want everyone to brainstorm. You can always do it in Discord. You could type it in a message. You could DM me, or you could say next live stream, next Friday. You can tell me, but what are we going to call this game? This is like is it a game or is it a system? Or like, I think we can call it a game. We'll call it the Li Flies Mike something, or we'll call it the something something. It doesn't have to be Li Flies Mike, but I'll have the D8, or I'll have a table, right, where you can roll for your techniques, and then I'll have tables of material, basic general materials, to where people can roll, and that way on your own time you could take 2 tables and you can roll up either with dice or with an online dice roller, right? I would recommend actually buying dice from Amazon. You can get a TTRPG. You can get like a D4, a D6, a D8. You can get all this for like a couple dollars for like the 6 different dice. And then what you do is you roll up your materials, and then you roll up the techniques, and then you try it out. The Mike tie. Yeah, think of a good catchy name. To where like, oh my God, people are like, hey, this is kind of cool, and it helps me blow up to where I can earn more ad revenue so I can fix my boat. So this is everybody's homework. All right. What do we call that? And also, I think what we do here is we glue eyes and we press the hollow tie flash down. Or do we just leave this like this? Because this might be cool like this, honestly. What do we call the game, if you will? It would help if my, like, either Mike or Li Flies or something is in there somehow. So that way it helps get my ad revenue up in the future. I just got to fix my boat. I'm doing whatever I can to save money to fix my boat up. I want to catch tuna on the fly on stream next year, you know what I mean? We got to brainstorm. I'm trying everything I can. All right, this head cement definitely needs some thinner added to it. Yeah, so I was thinking like what you could do. I think I'm just going to leave it because this is actually pretty sick. I was thinking what you could do is you could squeeze eyes. And if you squeezed eyes and maybe even glued some eyes with resin, you could like keep that like this. You could pinch it like this. So it keeps that shape. Because in the water, the flash is going to thin down. This is what's going to happen. The flash is going to thin down with the hollow tie because... But hey, that's actually not a... That actually kind of has a pretty sick profile to it. Like this. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, I'm sure Pike would like something like this for sure. And we picked some random colors, but you could tie a little bit more conventional colors. Dude, no joke. I think, like, you know, it's very hard to, like, actually come up with, I guess you could say, like, a somewhat original fly nowadays. If you were going to do it, you could do it with this system. Because if I was like, okay, this is my fly. This is Mike's, what was the name of that one song? Was it Nicki Minaj? Where it was about how wet her, you know what is? What was the acronym? Was it WAP or something? Yeah. My Li Flies Mike WAP Fly. Just because everybody's doing these dumbass sex dungeon names. Well, yeah, mine is the wet ass pussy. Fucking. There you go. Sell that to Umpaqua. We got the Li Flies Mike WAP Fly. Perfect. That's derogatory. It's the only way you're going to sell your fly patterns nowadays is because if it's it has to be sexual. So I hate to say it, but if you're trying to make a living nowadays with you know, Umpaqua, these guys, you got to do it. So yeah, the Li Flies Mike WAP Fly. There you go. That's good. Yeah. Because it's like how often do you see someone hollow tying like ostrich or hollow tying the feathers and then just flash in front with some synthetics out the back? I feel like that is a somewhat what do you call it? That's kind of like an original fly. Yeah, what I'm saying is WAP, wet ass pussy. No, there's no O in there, so that may be something else. But what I'm talking about is a Nicki Minaj song, I think it is. Or it might be that other girl with a big butt. Yeah, no. I think they just called it WAP. Like instead of WAP or something, that was how they pronounced it. It's Cardi B, right? She's like, I got a WAP. I got a wet ass pussy. Yep. There you go. Ship it to Umpqua. The Li Flies Mike WAP fly. It's got squimpish hair in the back. It's got, yeah. I can tell you one Cardi B song, that Anaconda song. That's only because like it was so provocative. I don't listen to Cardi B, but it's just what do you call it? It's just cultural. This is just our culture. This is just social human living, right? I don't know anything about Cardi B, but I know what about that song. So there you go. I was just thinking of the most derogatory sexual name for a fly because apparently that's how you get big in this industry, right? We got Kelly Gallup's Sex Dungeon. We got this and that. We got the Nipple Twister 5000. I forget a couple other ones. But that's just like a running joke that we always make fun of here on the channel. Not even make fun of. We always just we kid about it because there's so many like sexualized fly names out there nowadays. You know what I mean? There's like the BDSM or something, And it's like a little dry fly for like brook trout. Oh, MC Hammer was in it? Just get rid with it. Oh, there you go. Look, I ain't hating. Look, if there's anybody that could wear golden parachute pants, it was MC Hammer. All right, and the guy was a gangster too. If you watch, there's some YouTube videos. It's really interesting. People like other rappers talking about it. Did you know like MC Hammer was a straight up like he would. You don't mess around with MC Hammer is what they were saying. Him and his crew they were rolling around with back then. I just remember watching the VHS, what was it, documentaries they did where how he was bankrupt, how he lost all his money. That's just what I remember watching that back in the day. Yeah, other rappers they were like, yo, it was like in Dave Chappelle where people were like, oh shit, is that Wayne Brady? And they would start running. That's when MC Hammer showed up. You know what I mean? He would be wearing his like gold. He'd be doing his dance with like his golden parachute pants or something. That's totally. Oh man, that's totally like a Dave Chappelle skit. If he was still doing, if it was 20 years ago, that would be. And that news came out and like that YouTube video, I could see Dave Chappelle doing a skit where people are like, "Oh shit, it's MC Hammer, run!" And he's like doing the dance, wearing the clothes, and he's like coming in. Oh man, that could totally be a Dave Chappelle skit, 100%. If it would. I'm like picturing it right now. Dave Chappelle dressed up as MC Hammer back in the 80s. And he's like acting all gangster, but he's doing like dumbass dance moves from his videos and stuff. Oh man. All right, chat. Well, there you go. Let's get one good look at it here. The Li Flies Mike Cardi B fly. There you go. Perfect. The MC Hammer, Li Flies, LF Mike, Unshaved, Cha Fly. That's pretty good. I'll put that as a second. If they don't approve the WAP one or whatever it's called, or if there's some sort of copyright issue with Cardi B, maybe we can go with that one. Oh yeah. All right. Well, that was pretty cool. You know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to work on, in my own time for you guys, chat. And I'll just, put it out there. I'm going to make a list for the techniques. And I'll make a little document. And I'll make a list or a table, random table of materials. And, yeah. Since you rolled for it, could be a crit miss or a nat 20. Yeah, I feel like a nat 20... What should we do for nat 20? You could pick any material. And a nat, if you get a 1 is a critical fail, maybe you have to, or maybe with with a nat 20, you could pick any 2 materials. And with a nat 1, No, I don't know. We have to think about it. What would be crits and what would be crit fails and crit successes? Yeah, it's a good point. We don't need that, but that would be cool. Maybe it's just a nat 20 if you get a nat 20 on a d20. But that would be the table would be a d20. All right, now we're coming up with game. We got to come up with a whole game mechanic for fly tying TTRPG. Like, how about this? A fly tying TTRPG where you randomly are rolling up your fly, and then as you tie your, how would you do it? It'd be like tying the fly is like the boss fight or something. I don't know. Or maybe when your fly's done, then it's got a certain stat and you roll with it and to see if you beat the striped bass at the end. It could be like a little mini game. Since you rolled for it, could be a crit miss or a nat 20. Oh, you're saying what the name of the fly is? Yeah, we could call it Yeah, that's interesting. Maybe like I don't know about a nat 20 though. Like a nat 20, the fly needs to be like, you know what I mean? I mean, we rolled 3 8s. That's something. Something with 8s, triple 8s, we can call it. The triple 8s. You know, the triple 8s is kind of cool. The LI Flies Mike triple 8s fly. And it's Swimpish in the rear, Ostrich and Marabou Hollowtide, and then Flash Hollowtide in the front. Because I feel like a nat 20, the fly needs to be like one of the best flies you've ever come up with in your life. Like when you look at it, it's like, oh, you know, the lights like shining on it, like Jesus. You know what I mean? And I feel like a crit miss, because I'm trying to think what are other dice terms we could use. You know what I mean? Triple 8s is pretty good, though, I feel like. I'm going to write yours down, though. Yeah. It's definitely a new blend. This could fish crazy. Yeah, you never know. This is really cool, though. If you haven't, hollow tie, what you do is or if you haven't tried this before, use Marabou for the inside, so you get a little cushion. Then you'd use your ostrich on the outside, right? And then what you do is you tie your flash on the, do a separate hollow tie of the flash on the outside of your ostrich hollow tie. All right. Cool. Not too shabby. All right, chat. Well, that was fun. I had a lot of fun doing that. This is like a new little thing. Yeah, well, if anyone comes up with a good name for it, though, you let me know. I'll put you in the honorable mentions. I'll say special thanks to, put your username there and say for coming up with the name of the game. Or the name of this little thing. But yeah, there you go. First time we ever did this, and I think it was a success. I got to do, we got to try some things that, I've never used the material in this way before. Now, what I'm curious is what if we rolled feathers and we had to spin the feathers? Like there's a lot of crazy shit, right? But some of it might not come out good. I think this was a nice accident, but I feel like the list and, you can generally tie most materials and most techniques, right? I would use a Starbucks straw to push. Yeah, you could use a Starbucks straw. Sure, I've never thought of that. But what we normally use is a lot of people take the pen out or whatever, and or take the pen itself and use the tube. That works. The Mike LF Divine. Okay, the LF Divine. Interesting. Okay, something with Divine maybe. Divine because the Flash and because the Jesus. Yep. Adios. This would be cool to meet up at a bar, roll for your fly, and then go out and fish them. Yeah, this could be that would be like a cool thing where like you let's say that you have like a little fly tying club that you normally go part of, and you say, all right, come on guys, we're rolling up random flies. Everybody rolls up a random fly, see what you tie, and then we're gonna go out and fish them. Oh my God, Craggle Roll. You potentially just either made me a lot of money, or it's going to be a waste of time. I mean, no matter what, it's not a waste of time because any video I make for my main channel is good. But Marlin Baits. I'm sure everybody knows him. If you know, he makes fishing lures, and he does tons of videos where he makes a fishing lure and goes fishing that day with it. And he does one day, like whatever. And I was always thinking, like, how do we do something? I don't want to do necessarily something like that, but I want to do my own thing. We roll up a random fly, we tie that random fly, and then we take it and go fishing. See how it works. There you go. It's different. I mean, it's kind of like similar, but I don't like want to do exactly what that guy's doing. It's always a good idea to like kind of put your own twist or do your own thing too. Like you don't just want to copy people. But I was like, that's a pretty cool formula for videos. Like I wonder how I could apply that for fly tying, because it's like I'm gonna go tie a deceiver and go catch a fish. All right, cool. You and every other guy who's gonna go fishing, he's gonna tie up a clouser and go fishing. It's not like the most fucking biggest like biggest challenge in the world to tie a clouser and go fishing. But like the way like we're coming up with a new pattern and then testing it in the video, that's pretty fucking good. I like that. So real quick, I'm going to write that down before I end this stream. Roll for... Oh, we could call it roll for fly? Roll your own fly. Or something. Roll your own fly. Or something. Something like that. And roll a new fly. Tie it on video. Then go fish and test. Okay. Like Crack Corn's Cursed Current series. Did I put that in the Discord? No. No, I didn't know you got a little YouTube series or something going on. But yeah. Yeah, it's essentially, I always like stuff that fly tie for initiative. Fly for initiative. Like how you say roll for initiative. Fly tie for initiative. I'll put that down. Fly. Maybe tie. I'll put in brackets because maybe I like that or not. Oh, I misspelled initiative. That's okay. I'm gonna let the computer do it for me because I'm an idiot. Okay. Marlene Bates. Just the fly series, not a video series. Oh, okay, I got you. All right. Very cool. All right. Well, thank you so much, chat. This was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Something different. And I'll try in my spare time. I'm gonna put up I'll try and make like a little like a list, and that I'll post it to where you guys can like maybe I'll like make a random like Google Doc or something and make it shareable or something so you guys could access it or something like that. I don't know. As eventually when I'll have a website, I'll have like a part of the website where you can like download it. How about that? We'll come up with like a little game essentially. Thank you, Jen. Appreciate it, my friend. Lima, thank you for hanging out, brother. Again, Jimmy Crack Corn, Cragger Roll. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I know we had 603. Thanks for tuning in. Everybody, Rev as well. Appreciate it. You guys have an awesome night, awesome weekend. And what do you call it? Thank you so much for hanging out. We'll see you new Sunday, new video on Sunday, okay? And it's gonna be about bucktail. In particular, what hair and where to use it and from the tail. So, but anyways, thank you so much, chat. You have an awesome night, and we'll see you guys. All right.